Hi, I'm Roy Garris, Regulatory Compliance Practice Manager for ICON ATG. This is the first in a series of videos by ICON ATG on the public's protected information, what it is, and how to keep it safe. You've all heard of identity theft, hackers, data breaches, but if you're like most people, this is all very abstract unless and until it happens to you or the organization that you work for. If you or your organization handles the public's protected information, then this is for you. Every person across an organization has a responsibility to protect and secure the public's protected information. This includes employees who work in sales, customer service, accounting, IT personnel who build systems that store and manage the public's protected information, and finally managers, directors, and executives who have the ultimate accountability for compliance with those requirements. If you are in an organization in any of these roles, there are requirements that apply to you that your compliance quality program must meet. Let's talk about the scope of this problem. Major data breaches occur almost every day. In fact, from March 18th to April 13th, 2009, 19 major data breaches were reported. You might think that data breaches and regulatory compliance only apply to credit card and financial account fraud. The reality is 80% of data breaches are for the explicit purpose of identity theft other than credit card and financial account fraud. Identity theft has grown 1,000% from 2001, with more than 313,000 people filing complaints of identity theft with the Federal Trade Commission in 2008. Because of this rapid growth, industry standards bodies, state legislatures, and the federal government are all acting quickly in an attempt to get ahead of the problem. In 2002, California introduced the first data breach notification law. It languished in committee until the committee members themselves had their own information stolen due to a compromised state agency server. Since then, 46 states have passed legislation protecting personal information. Penalties for this range from personal action, to civil action, to criminal prosecution, and those penalties vary by state. Most states have updated or are in the process of updating the protected information. Regardless of the reason for the data breach, if you handle any one of the more than 56 types of the public's protected information, these requirements apply to you. At a minimum, there are 3 areas that your compliance program must address in order to avoid the fines and penalties in the event of a data compromise. But before introducing those 3 areas, let's talk about the goals of your compliance program. The fundamental goals of a compliance program are to prevent data breaches and qualify for safe harbor provisions. Preventing data breaches is typically accomplished by securing access to my facilities, network, applications, and scanning for vulnerabilities to hackers. Most people recognize what we mean by prevent data breach, but not many really understand why they should qualify for safe harbor. Safe harbor provisions and regulations, laws, and standards provide specific guidance and best practices that you can put into place to become and stay secure. In the event of a security compromise, if you can show that you were in compliance with the safe harbor provisions at the time of the data breach, you will potentially limit your liability. Now, here are the 3 phases that your organization must execute for a comprehensive compliance program: analyze, remediate, operate. First, analyze. This is where you catalog the regulatory, state, and federal compliance requirements that apply to you. Second, remediate. In this activity, you identify, reduce, eliminate, centralize, and secure instances of protected information in your environment. Third, operate. Here, you protect against hackers and data breaches on an ongoing basis with application scanning, network monitoring, and penetration testing. To date, most organizations have focused only on application scanning and penetration testing in their compliance efforts. However, the most recent laws and regulations emphasize prevention, which can only be accomplished in the first 2 phases. The reality is that 3 of the top 10 threats to enterprise security are not from external hackers. Over 60% of data breaches involve someone gaining physical access to your data. And the analyze and remediate phases are designed to address these and other related threats. Finally, by implementing all 3 phases, you can properly account for the over 1,400 separate state regulatory requirements for protected information and the over 56 types of data defined as protected information. These numbers are current as of April 2009. However, be aware, legislation is already pending to greatly increase the number of compliance requirements.
ICON ATG's 3-phase program builds a firm foundation for the rapidly expanding amount of legislation and industry standards relating to regulatory compliance. Please contact Icon ATG if you are interested in building a program to reach any of these key compliance objectives. Cataloging and analyzing the more than 1,400 federal, state, and industry regulatory compliance requirements. Identifying and securing the more than 56 types of protected information. Preventing rather than reacting to regulatory compliance breaches. Achieving push-button regulatory compliance audits. Meeting safe harbor provisions. Thank you for viewing this video on Icon ATG's Regulatory Compliance Program. Please feel free to contact us if you would like more information.